Welcome all my fellow gamers and horror film fans. I'm Mike C, and welcome into the Chrono Cabin. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I thought I would just do a quick video on the 2021 Video Game Award nominations. Just give you my thoughts for whatever it's worth. So let me share my screen here with you. We'll go ahead and we'll view all the categories. I'm not going to talk about all the categories, just a few. I want to talk about Game of the Year, and then we'll get to the best role-playing game. I know some of these were causing a little bit of controversy this year, but let's just start with Game of the Year. And overall, the Game of the Year games, I think they're pretty good. So I'm going to start with Resident Evil. That will be my pick, my vote, because Resident Evil Village was my game of the year easily. I can't tell you how much I love this game, and I do think it's like the pinnacle or the mountaintop of the entire growth of the Resident Evil series. I mean, I think it all amassed to this game. I really like the action in this game. I like the way you can upgrade weapons, but they don't get too crazy with the weapons. It's not like a Borderlands game, which is very true to the Resident Evil Village. You don't usually have a large assortment of weapons, but you can at least upgrade them now in this game. You could a little bit in Biohazard, but in this game it's great because you can definitely do more than you were able to do, and also you have a little bit more space, which is kind of nice. But really just the setting, I really like the Romanian village in winter, and it's creepy, and overall I think this game is a masterpiece, and guess what? It released without major bugs. In fact, I haven't encountered one bug on it, so go figure, a game actually releasing in a really good state. So yeah, Resident Evil Village is definitely the one on my list here, and I'm glad to see it nominated easily. The one that I'm kind of excited for is actually Metroid Dread, and it's unusual to have Metroid, I think, in a Game of the Year, because Metroid is a classic IP. Metroid is a classic game character. It's a classic series. It's by all means, there's a lot of Metroid fans out there, and they're diehard Metroid fans. But Metroid isn't for everybody. It's not as large of an IP as, say, Final Fantasy. I know it's a different genre of games, but just for the sake of saying, Metroid it's very specialized, and it's very beloved by a very particular group of gamers. So I think to see Metroid Dread Game of the Year, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, congratulations to Metroid and Nintendo on this, because they did release a really great product. Again, another game that came out with no flaws, really no bugs. I mean, the way a game should come out. In fact, I have a very good friend of mine, Dan Donatelli, great guy. He is a huge Metroid fan, so this was the first game he got on his new Switch, and he has been loving it, and he's played it all the way through, and he said it's very true to Metroid, and he's loving it so much that he passed the game and now he's playing it on hard. So yeah, I think Metroid Dread actually has a real chance here, which is great. That would be the underdog in all of this, I think. Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I can see as a definite contender. That game is really well done. Again, it's one of the few PS5 exclusives besides Deathloop. So honestly, good list here. I wouldn't complain about any of these games. I wouldn't find any problems with these. It Takes Two is a great game. Psychonauts 2 is a great game. So I'd say congratulations to these. I don't see any issues. Now, where I think I might see a little bit of the issues on the role-playing games, so let's go to that screen. We'll go back to the categories here. Yeah, let's go up to the role-playing games. And I know this has been this little guy here, Cyberpunk 2077. That has been that's been the contention here, and I can see why. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077, it's not only nominated here but also in Best Music, and I'll get to that in a minute. But in Best Role-Playing Game, I mean, after the disastrous rollout, I am a little surprised to see it here. Now, my good buddy Mark Thomas, who's a fantastic guy and a great guitar player, by the way. I've done a lot of music with him in the past, but he's a big PC gamer, and he played Cyberpunk 2077 on the PC. And to him, you know, this was actually a pretty good game. So I think PC gamers had a much different experience than the console gamers. And I think this game was better suited for PC. So I think ultimately, yeah, it was a pretty decent game on the PC side. I know there were bugs, but my friend Mark told me that he encountered a few bugs, but they weren't anything like game breaking. And at least at the point at which he was playing it. And he actually had a really good time with the game. And he said it really was a good role-playing game. You can go pretty deep with the characters. So I get that. But I don't think it should be on this list just because, you know, for a game to win an award, I think it should be a good game across all the platforms it was originally designed to come out for. And it was an absolute failure on PlayStation, and it was an absolute failure on Xbox. And I just don't think that we should reward it necessarily, you know, for that kind of a rollout. You guys can tell me what you think. You can all leave me comments. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just shocked. I mean, not so much shocked, but just surprised. I don't think it should be on this list. And I mean, they're still patching the game to this day. And it's like, I don't think we should reward releases like that. Whether it was good on PC or not, that's fine. But if you're going to be bringing it to other consoles, it was originally designed for the PS4, and I mean, it was a mess on the PS4. It just, you know, something just kind of sits a little wrong with that. Maybe they're doing it just so they can have Keanu Reeves at the award show. I don't know. Maybe that might be something, but I feel like there could have been another game in here instead. Like Tales of Arise, I'm pretty sure that would get my vote. In fact, I'll probably vote for that one, because Tales of Arise, by the way, if you haven't played it, it's a great RPG. It's masterful. Shin Megami Tensei 5, I think, definitely is deserving to be on this list. If you watch RGT85's channel, he did a video of this just recently. I'll link to it below. I'm a big fan of his. I love his channel. I think he does great videos, and make sure you're subscribed to him. He doesn't know me, but I'm just mentioning him anyway. But he did a video recently where he played this game, and he had never played any of the really the other Shin Megami Tensei games. So the mark of a good role-playing game is when you get to part 5 and you can be a new player to this game, and you can kind of dive into this game and have a good time and understand what's going on. That makes a great role-playing game, because a lot of times role-playing games can be a little daunting when they get to the higher numbers like 5 and 6. You think to yourself, well, in order to play this, I probably have to go back to 1, 2, 3 and all that. But no, he dove right into it. He has a great time. He did a great video on it. Monster Hunter Rise, I can see just from the amount of sales, and I do know that sales has a lot to do with these nominations. By the way, Cyberpunk 2077, as horrible as that rollout was, it's made a lot of money. They have sold a lot of games. I actually have my PS4 copy still, and I plan to uncork it, if you will. I'm kind of aging it like a fine wine. Hopefully they'll have it all patched up by the time I play it. I plan to play it in February. So yeah, good list on here. I think Cyberpunk 2077 is a little out of place. Now, let's just go look at best music. So we'll go back here and we'll view best music. So best score and music. Let's go into that. Again, we see Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I'm not gonna complain about it in this category as much, because the music is really good in the game. At least from what I've heard of it. I've heard the soundtrack. And I'm not gonna blame the composers and the musicians that played the music on this game. I'm a composer myself, and it's not their fault that the rollout was terrible. It's not their fault that the game was just terrible on the consoles. So, you know, if it's good music, I think definitely it should be given some accolades. So, you know, I'm not going to blame it for being on this list. And I know it's controversial, even if this game shows up anywhere, because I know this has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. The Artful Escape, I could easily see the music is great in that. Deathloop music is very cool. Guardian of the Galaxy, yeah, I could see it. Great score. Near Replicant, I haven't played, but because it's nominated, I'm very curious to hear the score on this, and I think I'll definitely go and check that out. Let's go back really quick. One more category. And I want to go to, Best Narrative. So again, we have Deathloop, and yeah, the story is pretty good in Deathloop, so, you know, Bethesda, props to them. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think is worthy of Best Narrative because it's really got a great campaign. I love games that have a really great campaign. And for me, I would probably vote Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. Psychonauts 2, yeah, why not? I think that's a great game. That I'm glad to see Psychonauts 2 getting so many awards. Life is Strange, True Colors, I know that this game has been making a lot of waves. So overall, Best Narrative list I think is pretty good. You know, I might even put Village on there. I like the story. I don't know. I maybe I feel like that should have been on here too, but you know, I'll take what I can get. I mean it is up for Game of the Year. That's a pretty big award. I'm really hoping that one wins. So anyway, guys, this is just my take on the awards. I'm just wondering what you all think. Yeah, I'd really like to hear some of your thoughts. So if you want to leave some comments, please do. Tell me what games you haven't seen on this list. We didn't go through all the categories, of course, but you know, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't. Anyway, thanks for joining me, kind of hearing me out on this. As always, keep playing those video games, keep watching those horror movies, and I will see you soon.